it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and another card making video. Today I am playing with Scrappy Tails products, this Woodgrain Slimline die, and these two butterfly die sets. I have the open butterflies and the flying butterflies, and I am going to be pulling out some gel press prints for today's techniques. I wanted to die cut this Woodgrain Slimline die from a gel press print. Now, if you're not familiar with gel press printing, I have several videos on the process, and I will link that playlist for you at the end of this video so you can check out what gel press printing is. It's super fun. It involves paint, brayers, and a jelly-like plate that you brayered on and pick up the paint for unique prints. So I'm die cutting this 2 times from that one print I showed you that has like the red, pinks, orange, and yellow colors in it, and then one from black as well. And then I'm die cutting out these butterflies. I did 2 from orange and 2 from yellow, and I wasn't sure exactly what I would use for the first card, so I thought I'd go ahead and do all 4 of them. Then I die cut the top or most detailed piece from some black cardstock to go over the top, and I love this look. They are so beautiful. They have so much detail in them and are so lifelike. I just, oh, so pretty. All right, so then I'm going to take that first background that I die cut out with the wood grain, which, by the way, is one of my most favorite background dies. I love all things wood grain, so this makes me super happy. Most of the fallout pieces stayed in, which is what I wanted because I wanted to do an inlay technique in today's video. Well, a lot of the lines, so to speak, in this die are very, very thin. So when you glue it down, it's easy to move the die where it's still, or move the paper where it still looks like the original die, but it's slightly moved over. And so that makes it really hard to do an inlay technique. You can see there, I had one of those lines scooted over. So I didn't end up doing 2 different colors to create an inlay, but did the same exact paper for an inlay, which gives it a really cool look. Now I'm bringing in the Slimline Shadow Box die set because it has this really cool happy birthday die cut sentiment in it and a shadow. So I die cut that from black and then a vellum shadow. And I also have this gold strip that I'm going to put near the bottom of my panel, and then I'll glue my happy birthday onto the vellum shadow, and then this can go on my card together. And then for the happy, and that shadow with the vellum behind it will allow more of that gel press print to show through. And I like to just put the glue behind the letters themselves so I don't get a lot of glue behind the vellum. I was able to save the little tittle, which is the top of the eye, and stick that on as well. Now onto my butterflies. I press them down into my VersaMark pad, and then I'm sprinkling on some clear embossing powder. When I melt that, it really intensifies the color, makes it shiny, and it just looks amazing. To really go with that look, I actually did this 2 times, and it gives it more of a smooth finish off look. So you just wait for it to cool for just a second, press it back into the VersaMark pad, sprinkle it again with the clear powder, and melt it again. And it almost looks wet. It's so amazing, or like it's enameled. So I did that with all 3 of these butterflies that I'm going to use on today's card. I didn't end up using the 4th one, just 3. You know, you gotta work in 3s, right? That odd number is the magic number when embellishing your cards. So I laid out the butterflies and decided before I stuck them down, I wanted to add some Wink of Stella to the letters. So this is a black Wink of Stella pen. So I'm going over the letters with that, giving them a little bit of shimmer. Then for the butterflies themselves, I'm going to stick those down with some foam squares so they look more alive, like they're actually flying. Then for embellishment, I have these gold baubles from Trinity Stamps that I'm going to glue in and around my panel because I did splatter this with some gold splatter. So I've got 3 different elements of gold with that paper, the baubles, and the splatter. And that will finish off the first card using an inlaid technique. So I already did a whole video with this wood grain die showing you 3 other techniques. I'll also have that linked for you at the end of this video. So on to the second piece here, I am using the other one die cut from that gel press print, and I thought this was the one I was going to inlay with the black pieces. So I'm going to glue that down onto a panel here, and then I'll bring in the black, and this is really when I realized it's not gonna work out to glue in the other pieces. I'm sure someone more meticulous could do this, or if you used a heavyweight cardstock to begin with, it would be easier, but it just wasn't working for me today because when I do gel press printing, I use lightweight, inexpensive cardstock to pull my prints. And so some areas were just too skinny where the lines, when they glued down, would scoot over. So instead, I brought in my clear wink of Stella and colored in those lines to give them a little bit of shimmer on that white part of my wood grain. I found some more gel press prints. I actually have literally a cajillion gel press prints. I have made so many. I've taught gel press classes before. I've done a lot of videos, so I have a lot of excess gel press prints. So using them up makes me so happy. So I found ones that were somewhat solid, but still a little interest to create the background for these 3 butterflies. Now for embossing these, I'm sprinkling on some clear embossing powder that has glitter in it. So it is clear and glittery, and it looks amazing. I did not have to do 2 layers with this. I was really happy with how it looked after the first embossing. So those are getting stuck down to this panel vertically, still leaving room for my happy birthday die cut sentiment. Now I decided to make all birthday cards today because some people in my family have been needing birthday cards and we've had a little bit of a hard time digging some out. So I decided it was time to replenish the stash with more birthday cards. Now I die cut that happy birthday from some black glitter cardstock, but felt I needed a little black splatter on my card before I stuck it down. So I'm going to stick it down just like that and add some sequin embellishments. They're actually gems though, not sequins. And I have yellow ones, red ones, and orange. To finish that off, I'll stick it down to my Slimline card, which is 8.5 by 3.5, and that is card number 2. So pretty. Okay, on to card number 3. I'm taking that black panel and a Zig 2-way glue pen. This glue comes out blue and wet. If you let it dry, it will turn clear, and then it is a repositionable glue. Even so, I like to stick it down to something and peel it off before I stick it down to the thing I'm actually going to use. So that's what I did, and I stuck it down to this white piece of paper that is 4 1/4 by 11, and I'm spraying it with Distress Oxide sprays and using this as a stencil. And then I'm going to pick that up and let it dry for just a minute and then remove that faux stencil. And it is amazing. I love it. This might be my favorite thing to do with this die. I mean, just besides just die cutting it and sticking it on a piece of paper, this is pretty cool. I'm loving it. I trimmed it out and then brought back in those pretty gel press prints that I used on the previous card, but this time I'm going to die cut out the outline of the butterfly instead of the solid piece. And then I'm going to glue those onto black backgrounds. So just the opposite of what I did on the previous card, and they look so good. Either way, these butterflies are gorgeous, and I'm sure this would look really good also pressed into the VersaMark and embossed, but I didn't do that for these. No, I went a little crazy. I'll show you the crazy part in just a moment. I pulled out this black gel press print to die cut my happy birthday for this card, so it would have a little interest in that and not just solid black paper. Okay, first, to add interest to this background, I was splattering it with sparkle silk, and then I just wondered, what would it look like if I did the VersaMark and embossing all over this panel? And I knew that if I was wondering it, that you might be wondering it too. And as a service to you, I thought I should go ahead and give it a try, and then we would all know. So I did. I pressed that VersaMark pad all over it. I sprinkled it with just the clear powder and embossed it, and it's amazing. It looks really cool. It's like raised up and shiny, and the colors are intensified. I loved it. So there you go. I'm going to do the same thing with that black Happy Birthday, just because the black will get more intense. That's why I wanted to go ahead and emboss it. So again, dipped those in the VersaMark, sprinkled on some clear powder, heat set it, and my Happy Birthday is very happy. I'm going to glue those pieces down. The butterflies, I'm using foam squares, but also glue, just because it's going on top of that embossed paper, and it's, you know, it's almost like sticking it to something plastic where you could peel it off pretty easy. The Happy Birthday itself, I'm gluing it down and really making sure it has an opportunity to fully connect with that paper by putting the block on top of it and letting that set for a minute. And then this little butterfly is the one that's sitting, so you can see its little legs. So I'm going to put that one right on the words Happy Birthday. Okay, this did not work out. This is very sped up, but I wanted you to hear my excitement over ruining my paper. Yeah, it didn't go well, y'all. I messed it up. I thought I'd wipe it up. I made more of a mess. I cleaned it up as best I could. I put that away. Oh my gosh, it was very traumatic. My daughter wondered what was going on. My dog ran to my rescue. It was very, very traumatic. And then it is Crystal Gem stickers to the rescue in black. Thank you very much, Honeybee Stamps, for saving me. And card number 3. So I wanted to give them a little flight trail, and so that's what I did with these tiny gems, and glued that onto another Slimline card base. So those are the 3 cards for today. You could also use that black piece of paper that was the stencil and make a card with that as well that has some of that spray on it. It would look really cool. But for today, 3 cards. If you want to check out the other 3 techniques I did with this Slimline wood grain die, I have it linked at the end of the video, as well as my gel press playlist, so you can check out how I make gel press prints if you're interested. I thank you so much for stopping by. I have the supplies I used today listed and linked for you in the description box below, so check that out. If you're new here, I'd love for you to subscribe, and I will be back again very soon with the next video. So I'll see you then. Happy stamping. Bye.